The tournament organizers expected Alex Eala to attract attention. They knew Filipino fans would travel from across the United States to watch her compete. They knew the stands would be louder. The practice courts would be busier. And the cameras would follow her every move. What they may not have anticipated was just how quickly that attention would grow into one of the biggest stories of the tournament. Alex Eala has officially been confirmed for the Mubadala City DC Open, launching her North American hardcourt campaign after the breakthrough season that made the entire tennis world take notice. But behind the excitement, tournament officials are also preparing for something else: crowd management, security, scheduling. Because wherever Alex Eala has played in recent months, one pattern has become impossible to ignore. The fans keep coming. Madrid, Berlin, Bad Homburg, Wimbledon. Every stop brought larger crowds, longer autograph lines, and practice sessions that attracted almost as much attention as the matches themselves. She has become one of the tour's fastest rising attractions. And that presents both an opportunity and a challenge. The WTA wants its biggest stars to grow the sport. Tournament organizers want full stadiums. Broadcasters want compelling stories. Alex Eala is delivering all three. But with that popularity comes new logistical challenges. Managing practice access. Handling increased media demand. Accommodating larger crowds. Ensuring the tournament schedule runs smoothly. Those are the kinds of issues officials now have to think about whenever one of the tour's biggest emerging stars arrives. When Eala's name appeared on the official entry list for the Mubadala City DC Open, fans immediately began planning trips to Washington. The tournament already featured an impressive lineup. Former champions, Grand Slam winners, top 20 players. Yet much of the conversation centered on one player. The 21-year-old from the Philippines whose remarkable 2026 campaign has transformed her into one of the sport's biggest attractions. After her memorable run at Wimbledon, where she introduced herself to millions of new fans around the world, expectations have reached another level. Every tournament she enters now feels different. Every draw becomes headline news. Every practice session attracts spectators eager to watch one of tennis's brightest young stars continue her rapid rise. And that's exactly what makes Washington such an important stop. It's no longer simply another tournament. It's another opportunity to prove that her Wimbledon breakthrough wasn't a one-time story. It was the beginning of something much bigger. By the time Alex Eala confirmed her place in Washington, she was no longer just another rising player on the tour. She had become one of the biggest stories in tennis. Her unforgettable Wimbledon campaign, highlighted by a stunning victory over defending champion Iga Swiatek, had captured worldwide attention. Everywhere she went, the crowd seemed to grow larger. Every practice session attracted more spectators. Every appearance generated another wave of excitement on social media. When Washington announced its player field, fans immediately circled Eala's name. The Filipino community across the United States responded almost instantly. Travel plans were made. Tickets were purchased. Supporters organized meetups and watch parties weeks before the tournament even began. Tournament organizers knew they were welcoming one of the fastest rising stars in the sport. With that popularity came new challenges. More media requests. Longer autograph lines. Packed practice courts. Increased security planning. These are realities that tournament organizers face whenever a player experiences a rapid surge in global popularity. It's not because the player has done anything wrong. It's because success changes everything. Professional tennis has always relied on its biggest stars to attract fans, sponsors, and broadcasters. Now, Alex Eala has joined that conversation. At recent tournaments, her matches have consistently drawn strong crowds, while clips of her performances have spread rapidly across social media. That kind of momentum naturally attracts attention from organizers, broadcasters, and the WTA itself. Large crowds require careful planning. Practice schedules may need adjustments. Security staff must be prepared. Venue operations become more demanding. Those are normal considerations whenever interest around a player grows dramatically. For tournament officials, the goal is simple. Create an environment where every fan can enjoy the experience safely while allowing players to compete without unnecessary distractions. Washington is expected to be another important test. If recent tournaments are any indication, Alex Eala's matches could once again become some of the most anticipated events of the week. And if that happens, it won't be because of hype alone. It will be because a young player from the Philippines has earned the attention of the entire tennis world through her performances on the court. That's the kind of challenge every tournament hopes to have, and one that shows just how far Alex Eala has come. But to many observers, one thing was becoming impossible to ignore. The Eala effect was real. Wherever Alex Eala competed, interest seemed to grow. Her Wimbledon breakthrough introduced her to millions of new fans, and tournament organizers knew that her matches were likely to attract larger crowds than they might have expected just a few months earlier. With growing popularity, naturally came greater logistical demands. More spectators wanted to watch her practice. More media outlets requested interviews. Autograph sessions became longer. Security teams and tournament staff had to prepare for increased attendance, just as they do whenever a player experiences a rapid rise in popularity. None of that was unusual. It was a sign that Alex Eala had become one of the most talked-about young players on the WTA Tour. For Washington, that meant planning ahead. The tournament wanted fans to enjoy the experience while ensuring that players could prepare and compete without unnecessary disruption. That's a balancing act every major sporting event faces when a breakout star suddenly captures the public's imagination. Many fans viewed those growing crowds as something to celebrate. For years, women's tennis has worked to attract new audiences around the world. Now a player from the Philippines was helping introduce the sport to millions of people who had never followed the WTA before. That wasn't just good news for Alex Eala. It was good news for tennis. Across social media, Filipino supporters began organizing trips to Washington. Some planned long drives. Others booked flights. Families coordinated vacations around the tournament schedule. For many, this wasn't simply about watching a tennis match. It was about supporting a player who had become a source of pride for an entire nation. The excitement extended well beyond the Philippines. Filipino communities throughout the United States, particularly along the East Coast, looked forward to seeing one of their own compete at the highest level. Every tournament became more than another stop on the calendar. It became a celebration of how far Alex Eala had come. The Eala effect has never been about tennis alone. It is about representation. It is about inspiring young athletes who rarely see someone from their country competing on the biggest stages. It is about proving that talent, determination, and opportunity can overcome geography. That is why every appearance now carries added meaning. Alex Eala is no longer playing only for ranking points. She is inspiring a new generation every time she steps onto the court. Those who had faced Alex Eala already knew one thing. She never stopped fighting. Opponents have spoken about how difficult it is to close out matches against her because she refuses to give away a single point. Even when the scoreboard looks one-sided, Eala continues to compete with the same intensity that carried her from the junior ranks to the biggest stages in professional tennis. That relentless attitude has become one of her trademarks. So has the unwavering support of her fans. By now, the Eala effect is impossible to ignore. Wherever she competes, Filipino supporters show up in remarkable numbers. Flags fill the stands. Practice sessions attract curious spectators. Social media explodes before, during, and after every match. What started as support for a promising young player has grown into something much bigger. For millions of Filipinos, every victory feels personal. Every milestone represents another chapter in the country's sporting history. Every tournament becomes another opportunity to prove that a player from the Philippines can compete with the very best in the world. That growing popularity has naturally created new challenges for tournament organizers. Larger crowds require additional planning. More media attention means tighter schedules. Security, practice access, and fan management all become increasingly important as interest continues to rise. Those are the realities that come with becoming one of the sport's fastest-growing stars. As the Mubadala City, D.C. Open approached, anticipation continued to build. Eala's confirmation for the tournament generated enormous excitement among tennis fans across North America, particularly within the Filipino-American community. Many planned road trips. Others booked flights. Some made Washington part of their summer vacation, simply to watch her compete. The tournament already featured an outstanding field, but Alex Eala quickly became one of the names everyone wanted to see. Immediately afterward would come another major challenge: the National Bank Open in Canada, then Cincinnati, then the US Open. 3 consecutive events that could define the next stage of her career. Strong performances during that stretch could push her to another career-high ranking and further establish her among the elite players on tour. The pressure will be enormous. But pressure is nothing new for Alex Eala. Every tournament now comes with higher expectations. Every opponent is preparing more carefully. Every match carries greater significance. That is the price of success. And by all indications, Alex Eala is embracing that challenge rather than avoiding it. Because the story is no longer about whether she belongs on the biggest stages. The story is about how far she can go once she gets there. More powerful than any headline or social media trend is the legacy that Alex Eala is beginning to build. This story is no longer only about rankings, prize money, or tournament results. It is about inspiration. Alex Eala has become more than a rising tennis player. For millions of Filipinos, she represents possibility. She has introduced a new generation to tennis. She has filled stadiums with Filipino flags. She has inspired countless young athletes to believe that they, too, can compete with the very best in the world. Every time she walks onto the court, she carries more than her racket. She carries the hopes of a nation. Her journey has shown that world-class talent can emerge from anywhere when it is matched with dedication, discipline, and belief. After some of the biggest victories of her career, Eala has consistently spoken about gratitude for her family, her coaches, her supporters, and everyone who believed in her long before the rest of the world noticed. That humility has become one of the reasons fans admire her just as much as her tennis. Her rise has also reminded the tennis world of something important. Great players don't only win matches. They bring new fans into the sport. They inspire the next generation. They expand tennis into places where dreams once seemed impossible. Alex Eala is already doing that. Whether she is competing in Washington, Montreal, Cincinnati, or New York, interest continues to grow. More people are watching. More children are picking up rackets. More Filipino families are following professional tennis than ever before. That is an impact that cannot be measured by rankings alone. The next chapter of her career is still being written. There will be victories. There will be difficult losses. There will be moments of celebration and moments that test her resolve. That is the reality of every great champion's journey. But one thing already feels certain. Alex Eala has earned the respect of the tennis world through her performances, her resilience, and her character. She has won something that cannot be awarded by any tournament or ranking system. She has won the belief of millions of people who now see their own dreams reflected in hers. And that may become the greatest achievement of all.